Welcome. And listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you is something most men never hear until it's too late. Imagine walking into a room and a woman notices you. Not because you're the loudest man there, not because you're the youngest, and not because you're trying the hardest. She notices you because something about the way you speak feels calm, steady, almost magnetic. It makes her curious. It makes her feel safe. And without realizing it, she begins leaning closer. Now, here's the strange part. The men who create this feeling are rarely the ones trying to impress women. They're usually older men who have lived, failed, learned, and stopped chasing approval. And the secret is simpler than most men expect. It's not a pickup line. It's not a clever joke. It's not even confidence in the way social media talks about it. It's 3 small words, used at the right moment, that quietly flip the entire emotional dynamic between you and her. But before we get into that, do me a quick favor. If you enjoy learning the hidden psychology behind attraction, take 1 second to subscribe to the channel and like this video. It helps more men discover these truths that most people never explain clearly. Because the truth is this, many young men think attraction comes from talking more, showing off more, proving themselves more. They believe if they just say the right thing, a woman will suddenly see them differently. But women rarely fall for the man who is trying too hard. They feel drawn to the man who feels steady, grounded, like he already knows who he is. Older men often understand this without even realizing it. They don't rush their words. They don't panic in silence. They don't beg for attention. And because of that, when they speak, their words carry weight. Think about the difference between a boy and a man standing in front of a storm. The boy tries to shout over the wind. The man stands still, watches, and speaks only when it matters. Women notice that difference immediately, not because they are calculating it logically, but because emotions are extremely sensitive to signals of calm strength. When a man feels desperate for validation, his words feel heavy and forced. But when a man feels comfortable in his own skin, even simple words can feel powerful. This is why some men talk for hours and create no attraction, while another man says very little, yet somehow becomes the most interesting person in the room. And this is where the first of those 3 words begins to matter. It's a phrase older men use without drama, without pressure, without trying to prove anything. But when a woman hears it, something subtle happens inside her mind. She stops seeing the man as someone seeking approval and starts seeing him as someone who chooses. And the moment that shift happens, attraction begins to grow in a way most men never understand. The first word older men use that quietly changes how women see them is this: relax. Not said with arrogance, not said like a command, but said with calm energy that tells her something important about you. Most men don't realize how tense they become around women. Their shoulders tighten, their voice speeds up, their mind races. They start trying to impress, trying to entertain, trying to prove they're worthy of attention. And women feel that pressure immediately. Even if they can't explain it, they sense that the man in front of them is seeking approval, that he needs the interaction to go well. Neediness is loud, even when no words are spoken. Now picture a different man, a man who smiles slightly, leans back, and speaks slowly. His eyes are calm. His body language says he's comfortable being exactly where he is. When a woman starts talking quickly, maybe a little nervous, maybe trying to impress him the same way many men try to impress women, he simply smiles and says softly, "Hey, relax." Something strange happens in that moment. Instead of feeling judged, she feels understood, because tension disappears when someone gives you permission to breathe. Older men know something younger men are still learning. When a woman feels relaxed around you, attraction grows naturally. She doesn't feel like she's in an interview. She doesn't feel like she has to perform. She feels safe to be herself. And safety is one of the most powerful emotional triggers in female psychology. But there's another hidden layer here. When a man calmly says, "relax," he is communicating something without directly saying it. He is saying, "I'm not nervous. I'm comfortable. I'm not chasing this moment." And confidence that doesn't beg for attention becomes extremely attractive. Think about how rare that energy is today. Most conversations between men and women feel rushed. People are glued to their phones. Everyone is trying to appear interesting instead of actually being present. But the man who slows things down, who brings calm into the interaction, instantly stands out. It's like stepping into a quiet room after being in loud traffic all day. Your mind relaxes, your guard drops, and suddenly you want to stay there longer. This is why women often describe certain men as having a calming presence. It's not magic. It's emotional leadership. Older men have learned that attraction isn't about pushing harder. It's about creating space where emotions can breathe. And when a woman feels that space around you, her curiosity grows. She starts wondering who you are, what you've experienced, why you seem so steady when most people feel restless. But the second word older men use is even more powerful because it flips something inside a woman's mind that many men never realize they're giving away too easily. It's a simple word, only 2 syllables. Yet when a man says it with calm certainty, it quietly tells a woman something very important. This man has standards. And when a woman senses that a man has standards, attraction often grows much faster than most men expect. The second word older men use that changes everything is simple. Maybe. It sounds small, almost harmless. But inside female psychology, this word carries quiet power. Most men answer women too quickly, too eagerly. If she asks a question, they rush to say yes. If she suggests something, they agree immediately. If she tests them with a playful challenge, they scramble to prove themselves. And without realizing it, they give away their position in the interaction. Because when a man always says yes, it sends a silent message. It says, I hope you approve of me. But the moment a man calmly says maybe, the emotional balance shifts. Not in a rude way, not in a cold way, just in a steady, thoughtful way. Imagine a woman asking, so, are you going to take me to that new restaurant everyone is talking about? A younger man might quickly say, yeah, of course, whenever you want. But an older man might smile slightly and say, maybe, we'll see. Suddenly, something interesting happens in her mind. Instead of him chasing the moment becomes shared. Now she becomes curious. She starts wondering what he means. She wonders what kind of man he is. She begins leaning in emotionally instead of leaning away. Human nature values things that are not instantly guaranteed. When something feels too easy to get, the mind often stops feeling excitement. But when there is a little mystery, a little space, curiosity wakes up. Older men understand this deeply. They don't rush decisions. They don't promise things just to look good in the moment. They take a breath, think for a second, and respond honestly. Maybe. That word quietly shows that the man is not trying to impress. He is evaluating. And when a woman senses that a man is also choosing, not just chasing, something powerful happens inside her perception of him. He stops looking like another man asking for approval. He starts looking like a man with direction. Think about how different that energy feels. A man begging for attention feels heavy, but a man who calmly decides what he wants feels grounded. And grounded energy is extremely attractive because it signals stability. Women often say they want a man who knows what he's doing in life, a man who is not easily shaken, a man who makes choices instead of drifting. The word maybe reflects that mindset in a very subtle way. It says, without saying directly, I don't rush. I think. I choose carefully. But there is something even deeper. When a man always agrees, conversations become predictable. Predictable interactions feel safe, but they rarely feel exciting. The moment unpredictability appears, curiosity grows. And curiosity is the doorway to attraction. But the third word older men use might be the most powerful of all because it reveals something many men are afraid to show. A quiet kind of strength that instantly separates boys from men. The third word older men use, the word that quietly sets them apart, is enough. It sounds simple, even ordinary, but when used at the right moment, it carries authority, confidence, and a calm sense of boundaries that most younger men never understand. Most men act like life is a negotiation. They try to please women. They bend over backward to avoid conflict. They over-explain. They over-apologize. And in doing so, they silently tell her, I'm not sure of myself. I need your approval. Older men don't do this. They know their worth. They know their time is valuable. And when they speak, they choose words that communicate strength without aggression. Enough is one of those words. Imagine a situation. She teases you, tests you, pushes a little too far. Most men laugh nervously or try to explain themselves. The older man smiles, calmly shakes his head, and says, enough. Just that. No drama, no anger, no need to justify. And the effect is almost immediate. Her mind registers it subconsciously. This man has boundaries. He is not afraid to enforce them. He respects himself. And women feel drawn to men who respect themselves, not because it's a rule or a checklist, but because emotionally, people are wired to notice strength in subtle ways. The calm, confident energy of a man who doesn't bend for approval triggers a deep respect and attraction without effort. Here's the deeper psychology behind it. Enough communicates abundance. It communicates that your happiness, your attention, your time is not up for grabs, that you are whole, complete, and selective. And women feel that energy instantly. It's why younger men who are desperate to please rarely create genuine attraction. They appear needy, predictable, easy to ignore. But the man who quietly enforces his boundaries, who knows when to step in and when to step back, becomes magnetic. The amazing part is, these 3 words, relax, maybe, enough, don't require flashy tricks, expensive gifts, or hours of preparation. They require presence, timing, and a calm understanding of how women perceive emotional energy. Older men use them naturally because they've experienced life, rejection, and heartbreak. They've learned that chasing approval never works, but calm, deliberate words do. And when a woman senses that calm authority, she begins to open emotionally. She starts to listen more carefully. She starts to trust. She begins to want to be around him, not because he's trying to impress her, but because he makes her feel something rare, safe, curious, and alive at the same time. The power of these words is subtle, but it changes everything. And the most powerful part, when used together, they create a rhythm in conversation that few men ever master, but every woman notices deep in her subconscious. You don't need to be young. You don't need to be flashy. You only need to speak with quiet authority and understand how words carry emotional weight. This is how older men effortlessly attract women and why younger men struggle. If you're ready, the next part will reveal how to weave these words naturally into your life so that attraction starts happening almost automatically. Here's the truth most men never realize. Attraction isn't built on clever lines, big gestures, or trying to prove yourself. It's built on emotional rhythm, the subtle way your words, your presence, and your energy interact with hers. And that's where these 3 words, relax, maybe, enough, become a system, not just random tools. They create a pattern women feel deep inside but can't articulate. They signal calm confidence, curiosity, and boundaries. All the traits she's wired to notice instinctively. Let's break it down. When you say relax, you lower tension. You create a safe space. She feels at ease. She stops performing. Her walls come down slightly, and her emotions start to flow toward you naturally. Then, when you say maybe, you create curiosity. You introduce the subtle sense that you are choosing, not chasing. This is different from being dismissive. It's being selective. It says, I have standards, I have options, and I choose carefully. This triggers intrigue. Her mind starts asking, who is this man? Why does he seem different? Finally, enough signals boundaries. It communicates that you value yourself, that you are not easily swayed, and that your time and energy are precious. She feels respect because humans instinctively respond to strength paired with calm fairness. Use these words together, not like a script, but as a natural flow in conversation. You don't need to overthink it. You don't need to repeat them constantly. Just let them slip naturally when the moment calls for it. The effect is subtle, almost invisible, yet powerful. Here's what's fascinating. When you start using them correctly, women unconsciously start giving you more attention. They lean in, they mirror your energy, they ask questions, seeking connection, because your presence now carries a quiet weight that draws them. And it's not manipulation in a fake sense. It's emotional intelligence. It's understanding human psychology. It's knowing that attraction is triggered by calm authority, thoughtful pacing, and clear boundaries, not by flashy moves or desperation. Many young men get frustrated because they think attraction is immediate. But older men know it's about layering emotional cues over time. It's about creating a sense of curiosity, comfort, and respect, all in subtle, almost invisible ways. When you start speaking with this rhythm, you'll notice a shift. Women who once seemed indifferent begin paying attention. Conversations feel easier. Interaction flows naturally. Attraction begins to grow, almost without effort, because you're no longer chasing. It's the opposite. You're allowing her curiosity and emotions to naturally move toward you. And that's the real power. Because once a man understands this, he stops worrying about winning or proving anything. He speaks, he chooses, and he observes. The energy changes, and suddenly, everything in interactions becomes simpler, smoother, and far more ma. Now it's time to bring it all together. To take these 3 words, relax maybe enough, and make them part of how you live, how you speak, and how you carry yourself every single day. Because knowing them isn't enough. The real power comes from using them naturally. Start with relax. Don't wait for a woman to say something stressful or tense. Practice it in small ways. When someone is rushed, when tension rises, when a situation feels chaotic. Your calm energy becomes a habit. Women notice it instantly. It signals stability. It signals emotional strength. And when she senses it, she unconsciously feels drawn to it. Then use maybe. In life, in decisions, in conversations, don't rush. Don't always say yes immediately. Let curiosity do the work. Don't be predictable. If she suggests plans or asks for your opinion, pause, smile, and let your words reflect calm thoughtfulness. A simple maybe says, I'm in control of my life. I'm not desperate. I choose carefully. And that pause, the mystery it creates, is magnetic. Finally, enforce enough. This is about boundaries, self-respect, and confidence. It's about knowing when to say yes, when to say no, and when to walk away calmly. It's about carrying yourself like a man who values his time, energy, and presence. And women feel that energy. They are wired to respect it. When used correctly, it's not coldness, it's quiet strength, and it makes you irresistible. Here's the thing most men don't understand. Attraction is emotional, not logical. You can't force it. You can't fake it. But when your words and energy align, women feel something powerful: curiosity, comfort, respect, and subtle desire all at once. These 3 words work because they communicate all of that without shouting. Practice them until they become automatic. Speak calmly. Speak selectively. Speak with boundaries. Watch how interactions change. Women begin leaning in. Conversations flow naturally, tension disappears, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, attraction starts to grow. Older men understand this intuitively. Younger men can learn it quickly, but only if they stop chasing validation and start observing emotional dynamics. Stop over-explaining. Stop overcompensating. Let your words carry quiet weight. Let your presence speak louder than any effort to impress. Because at the end of the day, women are drawn to men who feel complete, calm, and in control. The men who understand this don't need tricks. They simply embody it. And these 3 words, relax, maybe enough, are the subtle tools that make that embodiment visible to everyone around you. Use them wisely, use them naturally, and watch as the dynamics of attraction begin to shift, quietly, powerfully, and permanently. This is the truth most men are never taught. But now that you know it, you can step into it. And once you do, everything changes.